Welcome to Rack of the Week 168. I want to say welcome to Anton, Charlie, James, my new supporters on YouTube. Thank you very much. We're going to do something a little different this week. Rather than looking at one rack, we're going to look at an entire straight pool session that I had last Sunday where I ran. I just made 10 attempts, 10 innings, 10 attempts to run, get a straight pool run going. And we're going to look at how each run ended. So 10 attempts. How did they end? We're not going to look at the runs where I made the balls. We're doing something completely different. This is the first break shot, and I'm just going to hit play. I run through the first rack, get on a break shot. So we're not going to talk about any of this. Get on this break shot. And then right here, I've gotten to a point where there's only 2 open balls and a cluster in the center of the table, but I have a shot on this 4 ball to open up the rack. And so this is I feel like I'm still in a good position. I've got a rack under my belt. This is like a run of like 19 balls or so. Okay, I opened those balls up. They didn't open up great, but they opened up fairly well. So question, what are you going to do here? Obviously, I've only got one shot. It's a 5 ball. But I've got 3 balls tied up in the center of the table, and I can't really pick any of them out. I've got to run into them to open them up. And there's not very many balls left, so what do? This 14 ball up here, as far as I can tell, does go in the side pocket if I can get a shot here. I'm not happy about shooting the 2, especially right now. I could shoot the 2 in the corner of the side, but that's really difficult. The 5 is an easy shot. That's the obvious play. Would you do what I did, which is try to run into these balls? You know, I've thought about this and I've watched it again, and I am going to do this. I think it's the correct shot, and that's because there's hardly any other open balls left on the table. This is where I'm at in this rack. It's really nice that the 9 ball popped out and is a potential break ball. The danger with going into a cluster of balls off from the bottom rail without any insurance balls to the sides is you can get stuck there. And I know that, and I tell myself that I'm going to hit this hard enough to not get stuck. However, my bridge, look, my bridge is compromised. I mean, my stance is compromised. My arm is ahead of 90 degrees because even though I have a long cue, I'm stretched way out. I've got a 2-foot long bridge. All these things are going to contribute to the stroke not reacting the way you want. Probably or possibly would have turned out better had I gone over right on this stool over here. I've got a extension that I can put on the end of my cue so it's even longer. But then I could maybe get my arm at 90 degrees. And then maybe I would get a better stroke on the ball. All that said, I didn't hit it all that bad. I mean, I got some good speed on it. Cue ball got stuck behind the 6. Now, had I hit that a little bit harder, the cue ball would have had more energy, and there would be a bigger space between the cue ball and the 6, and I could have pocketed the 6 ball up here. As it is, I'm stuck behind this, and I have no shot. That's the end of the run. So I think this rack of the week is not about running balls. It's about the types of things that end runs. I would classify this under position error. I don't think there's anything I could have done different other than to get to that point. But other than hitting it harder, we can go back and take a real quick look right here. Which you don't want to come off the bottom rail and hit the 13 because the cue ball is going to go this way. And unless if the 6 becomes open for the side pocket, you're not going to have a shot. And so I'm trying to hit the 10 ball full or even on this edge so that the cue ball comes off from that cluster. But when you're stretched out, your stance is compromised, and you're trying to hit it hard, it's hard to be accurate with that. So I think this is just one of the vagaries of straight pool. Some of your runs are going to end this way. It's just an unfortunate thing. Another day of the week, or set this back up and shoot it again, and you come out smelling like a rose. But it is a position error, and it's one of the things that can happen at any time. At any time in the rack playing straight pool. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so my second inning, I shot a break shot and ran the rack. I'm on this break shot, and
give me a shot. I don't know.
Once again, it's not a. I didn't make an error. I think I hit that shot pretty well. I don't have a shot. I don't remember. I try something crazy like a bank shot or something, and I don't make it. I'm just making the point This is another thing that ends runs. It's going to happen. Now we can go back and look. I have a sharp angle on this break shot, so it's not ideal, and that's part of it. Had the cue ball been here, what are the chances that I shoot the break shot and end up with a shot? They're much higher because it's a standard break shot, and the cue ball is going to come loose from the rack much quicker, and I'm probably going to have a shot. We could also back up a little bit farther. Oop, not that far. Let's get to right about, yeah. Right here is great. This is an ideal situation that I talk about a lot. So I guess now we are talking about the pattern of balls, because I have almost a stop shot, and then here I've got the correct angle on the 14 to slide the cue ball up here. So how come I ended up where I did on the break shot? Perhaps this run could have continued had I taken a little bit more time or care with that 2-ball to slide the cue ball up here instead of the cue ball stopping here. Just food for thought. These are the subtle things that can, maybe not immediately, but in the next shot or two, lead to the end of a run. Just food for thought. Made a break shot. Now this is I've got a tough shot to begin and I make it. But take a look at that rack. It's pretty tough. I got tied up balls. I don't have any break balls in the break ball areas. And I'm not sure. I don't remember what happens on this one. Let's take a look. Looks like I'm picking it apart pretty well. Now I've got 2 break balls. Maybe I do get through this part. Yeah. Okay, so I got through that rack, and this is a good break shot. Now these didn't open all that well, but I'm working the problem. This doesn't look that bad. Maybe I get through this rack as well. That was a little iffy, but I got on the break ball. Had to shoot a long shot up table there. Did you see that? Now the balls were a little bit clustered here, but looks like I've got them open. And I've got 2 possible break shots. Oh, I remember what happened here. Right here. What's the end pattern from here? So I did a pretty good job getting to this point. I've got a break shot, 15 ball, but I do not have a key ball above it. Could also break with the 10. It's a little bit higher, a little bit farther outside, but it's got a good key ball. So there's 2 things that I think could have done. One is cut this ball in, and then you can come 2 rails out here, and you'll have a shot on the 15, and it'll be easy to position the cue ball for a stop shot on the 2, and then break the rack with the 10 ball. I think that's a very good option. It was at the 12, whatever that ball is. I think that's a very good option. The other option, which I should have done, is recognize that this ball's in the center of the table, so it's a pivot ball, and I could have simply shot the 2, held the cue ball here, shot the 10, and then gotten the angle to slide up here for my break shot, for the 15 ball break shot. Take a look at what I did do. 2 rails out of the corner, and I ran into this 12 ball. Now, I'm not sure what I was trying to do, but I never even considered shooting the 2 ball up in the corner. So you should do it any time during the rack. I talk about using your feet, looking at your options, but especially in the end pattern. Back there, when I had this cut shot on this ball here, I should have just taken a look, and all you got to do is say, okay, I'm going to shoot this ball, and I'm going to come around and shoot this ball and then this ball. And then you can come look and say, what if I shot this ball first? It only takes a second. And if I would have seen that the 2 ball is the better first shot of this end pattern, a different end pattern to do this, I would have done it. But I didn't take the time to do that. So make note of that. That's also something that sometimes you can get away with it. Other times it leads to an error. The error is this. Their error is right there. Because I used the 2 ball as a key ball, and the cue ball was over here, I had to draw the cue ball from here over to here. Now, how many times are you going to get that speed control just right where the cue ball stops? So you have this shot on the 15 ball break shot. Sometimes you're going to stop way short. Sometimes it's going to come over here. This is why you want a stop shot for your key ball, obviously. And this is the reason why The other pattern where I shoot the two ball first is a much higher probability. I believe what happened, because I have this sharp angle, I missed the break shot, and I actually overcut it. Yeah, I overcut it. Didn't notice I didn't overpower it. When you have a sharp angle, you don't need to, because the cue ball is going to have a lot of speed. And I'm going to make that break shot a lot, but it's a missable break shot. Whereas if the cue ball was here, it's not a missable break shot. And if I had played the other pattern and used the two ball stop shot as a key ball for this stripe, I'm not going to miss that break shot either. Food for thought. Put that in your notebook. Next rack. A lot of the run attempts, yeah, this one ends quickly. A lot of the run attempts, I made it through the first rack and then had trouble in the second, third, or fourth rack. This one, I get trouble right here. Obviously, I only have one shot, this combination. Okay. And I'm going to move the cue ball. I'm trying to play position for the 6 because I don't know where the one ball is going, because I'm cutting the one ball to my right in order to make the combination. Now, from here, I only have two choices. I can shoot the 5 ball up in the corner, and I really don't feel like taking that on. I can shoot the 6 ball, but I'm cutting the 6 ball to my left slightly. Where's the cue ball going? Because I'm against the rail, I can't shoot anything but a high ball, and the cue ball is just going to go to the bottom rail. So I decide that I have to force follow this, that I need to shoot it hard so the cue ball goes to the rail and then continues out to center table. And here's the expected results.
I did it.
Just a terrible play. Now, we could trace the problem here back to, I'm trying to play position for the 6 ball, because if the cue ball stops here, I'll have a shot on the 6. I could have a shot on the 2. I could have a shot on the 14. I could have a shot on the 5 ball up here. Maybe I'm a little bit nervous about making the combination. I'm not sure. But you've got to make really firm decisions playing straight pool. I know I'm cutting the one ball to my right. I know that the one ball is going to go this way. And I want to play the cue ball here. It's just a matter of not taking enough care to get the cue ball to go to the right place. Now you can say, "Oh, you should have taken more time. You should have used a better stance, whatever, so that you don't miss the 6 ball." And that's all well and true. But just like the 15 ball in the last rack, I can make that break shot, but it's a missable shot. I can make the 6 ball and force follow 2 rails to center table, but it's a missable shot because it's difficult because I'm against the rail. I didn't have to be against the rail if I would have taken a little more care on that combination to bring the cue ball up here. And I had possibilities in every direction. Put that in your notebook. I don't want to watch me miss that one again. So the next one, I had a break shot and I ran the rack. Let's see if this is the one that I ran 2 racks. I'm not sure. That's a good pattern. So I got on the break shot real well, made the break shot, and once again, like a couple of innings ago, I don't have a good break shot or a good shot after the break shot. And why is that? Let's see if I can get it back to the break shot and stop it in time. And right there. This is a standard break shot. I'm almost parallel to the ghost ball position, and it's a straight high ball. The cue ball is going to hit the rack, curve to the rail, and come up. And you've seen that cue ball action from me 100 times. Let's take a look at what happened. Try and watch the cue ball. I know it's playing in fast motion. The cue ball went slowly. The cue ball kind of stalled. Now, it did go forward to this point, but it didn't. I'm expecting it to come off the rail and up table. Maybe this far, maybe as far as the side pockets. And it didn't. And that's because you've got to make sure when you're shooting this break shot that you're setting up with your Q-tip position right at the top of that cue ball. And it's hard to tell, but I'm sure that I didn't quite get it at the top. You want a lot of positive forward rotation so that cue ball has a lot of energy and can get off from the bottom rail. And I think that's the contributor to this, just not having a shot. And I think about this for a long time. I'm trying to stop the video. Okay, I got it stopped. All right. I only have 3 shots, a long shot on the 14 up against the rail.
Come on, baby.
And I had like a 90-degree back cut on this 8 ball, or slow roll the 2. So slowing the 2 is the best. The 2 is the best shot, because if I make it, the cue ball is going to be approximately where you see it right now. I'll have a shot on this ball, or the 9 ball, or possibly this ball up here. So that's the correct shot.
Nope,
I just missed it. It's a real tough shot from there. So this is something that can end straight pool runs a lot. We've seen the pros extend runs when they get in this type of position, because they're such excellent shot makers. And, you know, people say, oh, straight pool's easy. You can shoot any ball anytime. It's not easy. If you're going to have a long run, I guarantee you're going to make some tough shots. Once you make one tough shot, yeah, then the rack might have easier shots if you play good position, but you're going to have to make some tough shots. And I need to practice more long shots off the rail, because they are going to come up in straight pool, and you've got to be ready for them. That's what ended that inning. Put that in your notebook. Next one. Good break shot. High ball and hitting the top of the rack. Cue ball went forward, and I don't have much to say about this one. That's just bad luck. There's nothing you can do about it. I hit that shot good. The cue ball, if you noticed, curved like this to the rail, which is what you expect. 99 times out of 100, the cue ball is going to hit another ball, stop up here, and you're going to have a selection of shots in different directions. It's just bad luck. But if you're going to be a straight pool player, you got to be ready to roll with it. You got to be ready to accept it, because it's going to happen to you sometimes. It's just the way it is. Next inning. Looks like I'm going to run this rack out. And I guess I'm going to use that 11 as a break shot. I don't remember if I get there. Looks like I should get there. Yep. Okay. A little bit of a shallow angle. Let's see how this works out. I don't remember how this run ends. Right here, I've got because I had a shallow angle, the balls didn't open much. So I've got a pretty tough road here. The only shot I have right now is the 3 ball, and honestly, I can't remember what I shoot. Okay. Yeah, no shot. So if you caught that, I shot the 3, and I purposely played this. I'm cutting the 8 ball now, just with speed, because I know the cue ball is going to hit the 9, and I'm hoping something opens this up, or I get some. I'm not playing a lot of position here. I've got 3, all the balls are in 3 clusters on the table. You're not going to pick this apart. You got to rearrange the furniture. So that's all I'm doing here. And it actually worked out okay. I got a couple of balls loose, and I have a shot in this too. That's the only shot I have. And so I'm doing it again. Off the bottom rail, into a back of the bottom of balls. I think that was the first or second inning in this rack of the week today. I cut a ball and went into a cluster from off from the bottom rail and got stuck. And it's so easy to get stuck. You just think that you're going to open these balls and have shots in every direction. But if you don't have an insurance ball or 2 into these corner pockets, good luck. And that's why I like to hit this with a lot of speed. You want to use center ball, because you don't want to end up with spin on the cue ball that's going to make it stick. So this is where the cue ball stopped. No shot. Oftentimes you'll get lucky and have a shot in the side pocket here. I do make a shot attempt, and I'm not going to show it. I try a trick shot kind of thing where I think I have enough room to hit this stripe ball right here into the rail, and then off this stripe and into the side. That's what I call. And I actually come close. The ball doesn't come close to the pocket, but I did hit this 12 ball, and the object ball went forward a little bit, but I didn't quite hit deep enough under there. But you can't say that's why the run ended, because that's just a trick shot, and it's a Hail Mary to try to keep the run going. And honestly, if I was playing in a tournament, you'd probably play safe at this point anyway. But you've got to be ready for this type of situation. Sometimes the balls aren't going to open. And honestly, like this shot right here, you've got to be really aggressive and you got to get lucky. I kind of got lucky to get this shot. And if I had this again, I would hit it with center ball again, or even a little bit of low, because low is going to shorten up the angle off the rail. And I would probably hit it harder. And you have a better chance of the cue ball coming loose and getting a follow-up shot. Let's go to the next inning. Try and remember what happened here. Okay, I've got a big cluster. Oh, okay. Yeah, I opened up with a 3-ball, so things are looking okay now. Oh, I remember this. This is where the rack went wrong. It looked like it was going pretty good up to this point. I've got a break shot with the 1-ball. I might have an opportunity to position the cue ball over here to shoot the 8 and bump this other ball over for another break shot. But this is the only problem on the table, this trapped ball, this stripe ball above the 1. I've got to get that loose somehow. I would much rather not shoot the 2-ball now, because I might be able to use the 2-ball to move that ball at a later time, but I don't have that option. So this is a rack where it was clustered at first, and I opened it up pretty well, and things looked great, and all the balls look pretty open, but it's actually a lot tougher than it looks. I make the decision here. My only shot is the 2-ball. I don't have another shot. And I make the decision that I want to draw the cue ball, because I can't roll it. It's too thin of a cut. Draw the cue ball to here, and it's going to have left spin on it anyway, and come back out. And so from in this area, I'm going to have a shot on the 14 or one of these 2 balls. And if it comes farther, I'll have a shot at one of these balls in the side pocket. So that's what my thought process was. But again, it becomes a missable. Maybe the shot's not that missable, but the position is missable. It's tough position. So sometimes you're going to be in that spot. I think what I should have done, well, in hindsight, of course, everyone's a genius in hindsight, Monday morning quarterback. I could have shot the 2-ball and simply gone here, here, and around, and probably have a shot on one of these balls here, or the 15 or the 7-ball. I don't think that's the right decision, though, because you can easily misjudge it, hit the bottom of the 12, and scratch. So I think what I did was the right choice. I didn't draw it enough, and I hit that 15.
All right.
And now I don't have a shot on the 6 or anything else. That's how quickly a rack that looks like it's in pretty good shape can suddenly go wrong. So now I've got to make a hero shot. I've got to shoot the 7-ball up table, and I'm telling myself, okay, the plan isn't that far out of control. I just have to shoot the 7 now, and if I can bring the cue ball over here, I'll have the same options that I had before, and maybe I can get there. Take a look at what happens. I come a little bit too far. Because I bumped the 15, these balls are not open to this pocket anymore. I've got to play short side position to shoot one of them over this way or break them out somehow. So I really didn't have the options I thought I had before. I do have a shot. It looks like I'm shooting at the 8-ball. And I like this because I can draw the cue ball over here, hit this ball, preferably the top side of it. That'll knock this stripe over here, and the cue ball will go this way. Then everything's open, and I'll be able to figure out an end pattern and get on the short side of these balls. You've really got to take the time, which I didn't do, to walk over and look at the angle, because I missed my position again. So there's been a couple of times where I didn't miss the shot, I missed position. Put that in your notebook. That's one of the major causes of shots that end straight pool runs. So at this point, I do not have a way to get the cue ball down here. And besides, the 14 is a blocker. I can't shoot those balls there till the 14's gone. So I'm bringing the cue ball over here. I'm shooting this 4, bringing the cue ball here. I plan on going 2 rails to bump the stripe out of the way. Then hopefully I can use the stripe to get short side or open these up, or shoot the 1 and use the stripe as a break ball. The odds are getting very low that I'm going to get through this rack. I get position on the 14, and I completely botch the 2 rail. So again, missed position again. I had a couple of opportunities to get this rack back under control and failed. You've got to slow down and use your feet, walk around, look at your angles, and we got to recognize that you're in trouble, even though it looks like the balls are kind of open, and put in the work to make sure you get that position correct. Had I done that, I had 2 or 3 opportunities, this rack might have been a whole lot easier. As it is, I only have a Hail Mary shot from here. I'm going to try this combination on the 15 ball. Obviously, I'm shooting at this first stripe just almost full in the face because it's going to cut the 15 thin. And all I'm doing is playing a stop shot because I know this stripe is going to hit the bottom rail and come back and hit the cue ball. And I have no idea where any of the balls on the table are going to end up. But watch what happens. I'm playing this one in regular speed.
Oh, how about that?
Fantastic result. As easily as you can get unlucky, you can get lucky. And that is an example of getting super lucky. The cue ball got kicked. It knocked that other stripe away, so it no longer ties up the break ball. And the cue ball floated up and gave me perfect position on the next ball. And now I can play that.
That come out smelling like a rose or what?
I celebrate a little bit and get on the break shot. Fantastic. Sometimes you're going to get lucky in the middle of a run. And crazy as it sounds, sometimes I've felt guilty about that. Like, I screwed up the rack. I shouldn't have gotten there. You can't think that. It takes luck to get a long run in straight pool. It does. You're going to get lucky a couple of times. Don't think about it. Don't feel guilty. Don't over celebrate. Just accept it the same way you would accept something unlucky happening, and just keep on shooting, because the fact that you get one lucky shot doesn't mean you're automatically going to run 100 balls or 200 balls. You still have to put in all of the work on the other 99 shots. So put that in your notebook. But how did this run end? It should have ended in that last rack. I don't remember. Oh, I'm in pretty good shape here. What's the issue? Let's see what I do. Okay, I nudged the 1-7. I like that. Oh, okay, so I got through that rack just fine. Good. And, okay, we're shooting again. Now, this is a little bit of a cluster in the center of the table, and that you should be aware that, you know, it's gonna need some attention. Probably this 4 ball might be the break ball, because if you get a shot, maybe you play the 13 on the side and get a shot on this stripe, then you can shoot this ball this way and shoot that ball back in the side and take care of those balls without much trouble. But you've got to recognize that the danger is there, and so you better play precise. Let's see how I deal with it. Ooh, I ran into those balls. Yeah, I don't like that. Now, my break ball, if I'm going to break with that 4 ball, I have trouble because I've kind of blocked it. Now I've got to find some way to shoot this 11 ball without disturbing the 4, if that's what I want to use as the break ball. I don't remember how this inning or how this run ends. Do I get through this rack? Oh, there we go. Nothing wrong with that. I made the decision to go to the below the rack break shot. That's a good decision. Okay, so we'll continue. All right, that worked out. Oh, and that's it. That's the end of the run. Got a long, tough shot on this 11. And rattle, the sound we hate to hear. What happened? So I decide, right, obviously I can shoot the 10 or the 4 or the 11, but the easy shot's the 14. I'm a little bit hampered by stretching out over the table over the 2 ball, but I think it's the time to get rid of the up table ball, and it's not a bad decision. I want to draw back a little bit, because I'll have the 11 ball. If I draw back farther, I'll have the 4 ball. Or even from here, I might choose to shoot the 10. I want to get on a re-break shot, and I like the 2 ball to re-break these balls. Nothing wrong with that. If I don't draw the cue ball too far enough on the coming back from the 14, I might shoot the 11, because I'll have an angle to go into these balls and re-break that way. So that's all on my mind. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. What happens when I shoot the 14? That. So again, this happened in an inning earlier. Yeah, I'm going to make this 11 ball more times than I miss it. Sure I am. But it's a missable shot. If the cue ball stopped here, here, or here, I can shoot the 11 or the 4 or even the 10, and none of those are missable. Why is the 11 ball miss ball? It's because I don't have to just make it. I've got to power it in, get the cue ball to the side rail, and back out so I can get a shot on the 4 ball, the 10, or the 2. So it's not just making the shot, it's the position as well. So I was a little bit hampered in my stance over the 2 ball to draw this back and just overdid it. You've got to recognize the danger in these situations and take the time to get it right. So file this one again on position error. I think that's one of the most major causes that leads either directly or indirectly to things that can end the run. Okay, got a break shot, right? Got a little bit of trouble over there on the left rail, but I opened it up. Oh, okay, looks pretty good from here. Okay, that's not great. I've got, really, this is the best break ball. And from here, what shots do I have? Yeah, I shot 7 because I wanted to go 7, 9, 8, and then use the 14 ball to go 2 rails around the 1. That's what I wanted to do. And I know I've got this on hyperspeed, so I'll try and catch it. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then I ended up shooting the 14 first and the 8 because I decided that I wanted to play this as the cue ball. Anytime your cue ball has to travel more than anything, you've got to recognize it as a risk. Obviously, I can make this ball and make the cue ball come straight over here and off the rail to here. How many times are you going to do that out of 10? 5 out of 10? 8 out of 10? If you can't do it 9 out of 10 or even 10 out of 10, it's a bad choice. So I think it's a bad end pattern. And I don't remember if I make the break shot or not. Obviously, I'm too thin on the 1 ball. I needed it to come off the rail farther. And, I did make it. I made it anyway, but that was still a danger. Now, I shot a couple of shots, and I didn't take enough time to think here either. Because I've got 2 clusters, these 2 balls on the bottom rail, and these 3 balls here, and I do not have a good break shot. When I bent down to shoot this 14 ball, why would I shoot the 14? I've got an easy shot on this ball and an easy shot on this ball. Why am I shooting the 14? It's because what I want to do is use a little bit of spin it in. Then the cue ball is going to have left spin, and it's going to hit the 9, move the 9 away. And I'm not going to hit it very hard, and I'll have a shot on the 3 or the 7 or the 9 or the 5 or the 15. I think that's 15. But I'm trying to save the 15 as the break ball. That's the only viable break ball. So it's a good plan. Once again, position error. Didn't take time. Watch what happens. Just completely butchered the shot. Oop, let me hit pause. Completely butchered the shot, hit it way too hard, didn't get any spin on the cue ball. And instead of having 2 clusters, I now have 1, 2, 3 clusters and no break ball. So this is how important shots like that are in straight pool. I made a decision to shoot the 14, spin the cue ball, and bump the 9. That's fine. And sometimes that's the only kind of, trick shot that you have. And it can work out if you take your time and execute it well. But let's walk back and take a look. I don't see a whole lot. I'm kind of elevated over this, but I could shoot this ball and just come off the rail. Then I'm going to have a shot on this ball in the side pocket, and I'll get an angle to send the cue ball this way to nudge those balls. The point I'm making is there are more options. I'm sure some of you have seen other options that might have had an option to open up these balls first and then get to those later. The point is, don't be in a hurry to open up your trouble. This situation warrants a closer look and walking around the table. Often if you walk around the table, you'll see all I have to do is shoot this shot and I'll have the correct angle on another ball and things will work out easily. So maybe I didn't have to take on this difficult shot. Put that in your notebook, food for thought. Okay. So I made this triple tough by making 3 clusters. I decide here that I've got to deal with these 3 clusters. So the stop shot on the 3 ball gives me an angle on the 5 so that I can send the cue ball into here, open those 2 up, and I have the 4 back this way as insurance. That's a good plan. Still going to be a tough rack because even if I'm successful in that, I've still got 2 more clusters to deal with. But that's a good plan. When I shot the 3, I drew it back a little bit too far. I needed it right here, but I didn't want to end up getting hooked behind the 9. So I end up with a very shallow angle on this 5. And it's because of that shallow angle that I've got to really hammer this ball to get that cue ball over there to get that cluster open. And
But you don't want to scratch.
And that's going to happen on shots where you don't have enough angle. Just like 9-ball, you're playing for angles when you're playing straight pool. You don't, when you want an angle, get an angle. And so I should have taken a little bit more time. And once again, this isn't the only opportunity. You could probably see, I might have been able to shoot the 3-ball, roll the cue ball forward to here and get a shot on the 6, and then shoot the 6 and play it for a different kind of angle. For example, I could have come straight down table, shot the 5-ball here, and then had gone this way to open these balls, and then I have an insurance ball with the 2-ball this way. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's different options. The point is, take more time to evaluate them, especially when you recognize that you've got a difficult rack ahead of you, because you got to get your shots right. You don't have enough balls left on the table to have that many opportunities. Okay, last one, I think. What happened here? Got a pretty clustered rack, so I shot something aggressive and opened them up. Looks like I'm dealing... Oh, got kind of a close cluster. Oh, that's a good job. Okay, so I figured it out. Let's see what happens in the next rack. A little bit of a shallow angle, but the result was pretty good. Again, I've got a pretty big cluster. This is it. This is what ends the run. Sort of. This is related to an inning earlier where I played position and the cue ball is on the rail. Now, you can kind of give me a pass here because I'm shooting over the 8-ball. But what I see here, a very, very slight cut shot, and I'm just trying to punch this ball so the cue ball comes up to like here. Because then I'll have an angle on the 8-ball to nudge these balls open, insurance ball back this way. This is the insurance ball. Seems like a good plan, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to call that position error. And why is it a position error? Because you don't want to be shooting a shot where you're cutting a ball and running into a cluster to open them up while your cue stick is elevated over the rail. Really tough shot. You're on a run. You've got 14, 28 balls under your belt. You want to keep the run going. You do not want to put the cue ball against the rail. So I'm going to call that a position error. I don't think there's a scenario where I would ever turn around and shoot this 11 ball or this stripe ball here. You have to shoot the 8-ball here. You just have to, because you're going to push balls this way and make a break shot. And I missed the shot. So you need to practice, and I mentioned this earlier, shooting off the rail so you don't miss this shot. And one of the keys is to take a couple of extra warm-ups and take a nice long pause before you shoot so that you bring your attention back to the aim point on the object ball. Because the way this is missed is you're watching where the cue ball is going to go when it opens the cluster. Because it's an easy shot, you're not going to miss it. Except that when your attention isn't on the aim point, you do this. And you miss.
And I missed. Oh.
Okay, put that in your notebook. And I think this is the last one. I've got, oh yeah, this is how the run ends. I think. I only have one trouble ball here. The way you want to deal with a trouble ball like this is you'd like to get a shot on a ball into this pocket with an angle that the cue ball goes this way and hits them. And then you're going to have an insurance ball this way or somewhere else. I don't have that opportunity, and I'm being a little aggressive again in trying to deal with my problems immediately. And I know, so that's I say that's one of the rules of straight pool: deal with your problems immediately. So I'm trying to do that. It just doesn't work out. This is a nice force draw back into that 9-ball. I pulled it back pretty good, and it just double kissed and stayed there. Not only did it stay there, I don't have any great shots. I guess I've got the 4-ball on the side, and I can cut this 13, but the cue ball is going to go this way. I don't remember what I shoot here. Let's take a look. Oh, I believe I do shoot the 14 because I'm going to try and get the cue ball open. Yeah. Let me see if I can back that up just a sec. Okay. So I shot the 14, the 4 ball, and I didn't come far enough because I wanted an angle on this 10 in the side, because then maybe I can send the cue ball over here or over here or do something good. But I got too much angle, and I'm trying to keep the cue ball under control. What I'm trying to do here, and I've got to shoot past the 3 to do it, is force follow with spin to spin into these balls. And I don't like it, but I've got to do something because I'm not in a position to open these up, and I've got to deal with the 3 ball to unlock my break shot. So I'm feeling the pressure of trying to get these balls open. And I feel like if I can successfully run into these, maybe I'll have a shot on the 8 ball back this way or the 14 or something else. I don't take the time to make sure that I hit it well, and I end up here. So I don't have a good shot. I mean, obviously, I can back cut the 10 ball on the side, or shoot the 10 in the corner and try and stroke the cue ball around this way. Hero shots. But I've got a real good shot here. It's kind of a ticky, just rail first, hit the 9, then the cue ball hits the 3, knocks it in the pocket. And then again, I think the 9's going to come over here. I think I'll have a shot on the 9 or a shot on one of these balls back this way in the side pocket. So we're going to classify this as position error. I make a good attempt at this. This is going to go sometimes. I just didn't quite hit it right. It didn't go. Even if it went, I hit the 9 ball. I hit it hard enough that the 9 ball came way up here. So I would have had a tough shot from the bottom rail in cutting the 8 ball on the side. I think I would classify that one under position error. So there's something completely different. This first time that I just really dug into a lot of errors, that these are common types of error that it's happened to all of us. So kind of, make notes of those, think about those. Those are the types of things that can happen. And I think that a little more attention to the problem at hand, and not just being so confident that you're going to get through it, really making sure about what you're trying to do and checking your angles so that you don't have a position error. That's the number one thing that leads to a missed shot or opportunities. I hope that was interesting and helpful. We'll do it again sometime. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.